the volume.
Turn up the volume.
You've arrived at the destination for all things Kentucky. This is the Bleed Blue Network Podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Bleed Blue Network podcast. This is Paul Novielli, your host. We are so proud to be sponsored by Blackwood Distilling Company. We are getting the show on the road finally. You've seen, kind of the rest. Now you're going to get the best of the show. I am joined by my co-host, Kendall, who has been upgraded already from intern to co-host. And I don't know how she feels about that, but how you doing, Kendall?
I'm doing pretty good. Excited. A little bit nervous, but that's okay.
It's all right. I was nervous my first time, but you know what? You just got to go with it. And today we are really excited. I have been saying something Peyton Manning has said way too much. My wife was very mad at me because I was upstairs yelling Omaha and trying to sound like Peyton Manning. And she literally said, if you say Omaha one more time, I'm going to punch you in the face. We are joined by Kentucky's star designated hitter, Nick Lopez. What's up, man?
What's up? Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
I am excited you're here, but I am also not as excited because I thought I was going to see a multicolored mustache, and it is now the same color. So are you just going to freshen it up for the World Series, or is it just kind of here to stay?
Yeah, I mean, I before every game, I decide what color I want to do. So this past weekend I did blue, and then the next game I did white. So it kind of surprises the fans a little bit. But it comes off pretty easily. So
pink could make a showing, and it wouldn't be weird, right?
I was thinking about it since we have the pink hats. I think that would be it would tie in pretty well.
So since not every fan understands that, give us the background on the pink hats, because I'm sure some of the people who have followed you either later in the season or fans of other teams that are going to listen to this are going to be like, why do you have a pink hat?
Yeah. So after Kennesaw State, we were struggling a little bit, and our coach, was getting on us about changing things up. And he was talking to us about an old team he used to coach on, Mississippi State, and how they used to do like weird stuff to get themselves, get ready for the game or during the game. And we came up with like a bunch of crazy ideas, just like pink hats, sideways six. Every inning we're doing something fun. Bubblegum third. So the pink hats were kind of just thrown in there by Mason Moore and Ben Clear. I think it was Ben Cleaver's pink hat, and it's kind of just like threw it on, and it was just kind of a fun thing, and fans started buying pink hats, and it's kind of
the rest is history.
Yeah, the rest is history.
So you go from the pink hats now to the College World Series, first time ever in Kentucky history. Suck it, Tennessee fans. You can't hold that out over our heads anymore. Enjoy never going to a Final Four. What was that night like? Obviously, it was kind of a weird game, right? Like you guys on the mound really dominated for stretches. I think you gave up 3 hits the entire weekend. Yeah. What was that game kind of like and going through your head of just like, are we going to actually, I don't know if you even thought this, but as a fan, you're sitting there going like, are we going to really blow this game and not give up like any hits? And then, it's kind of like squeaky bum time in the ninth.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's tough to see at night, and you could see that after both games. I mean, Oregon State has really good hitters, and we have really good hitters. We have really good pitching. They have really good pitching. So it's kind of a back and forth battle of pitching of who's going to give up, the least amount of walks or, hit by pitches, because that's kind of like what opens up a game. Like on Friday or Saturday, when they started walking a bunch of guys, hitting guys, we started scoring. We put up 10 runs. And the next game, they had a really good pitcher. He was throwing strikes, getting us out, getting us to swing at his stuff. So it was kind of a back and forth, fun game. But, we ended up pulling it out because we have we do whatever it takes to win. So Noah McCarthy at second base, Grant Smith strikes out. He runs. You could see that he was looking to score the entire way. So seeing that, we needed to score. So he took that chance and went, and it was like, dang, who would have thought? Nobody was sending him. He was just kind of like, I'm going to, do whatever it takes. So it was definitely emotional. I mean, I started crying as soon as we got the last out. I've never even played in a playoff game before this. So just kind of seeing like, you dream as a kid to play in Omaha and having that opportunity and knowing the history behind Kentucky and how they've never, been this far before. It just kind of all came at one time, and everybody was emotional and excited. And it's just really cool to see like the fans, so like excited for Kentucky baseball, and seeing all the guys that have been here since freshman year and had, been through a struggle, and now they're here going to Omaha for the first time.
It's very exciting. I have followed UK baseball for a lot of years, going all the way back to the Cliff, and not being able to see down, that dates me. I remember not being able to see down the right field line all the way because of the, it might have been a batting cage? I don't know. It was a big metal structure or something, but you couldn't see if you were on the first baseline. You couldn't see there's just sirens. They're coming to get us already, Kendall. But when you guys obviously, you get that final out, and I think, it's an interesting process because teams, you get that final out, you make it, and then it's the mental adjustment of, hey, like we made it. Now it's like, oh shit, we made it. Now it's like that mental adjustment. How do you think you guys are? I know you're a very veteran team, but how do you guys think you're mentally preparing now from going from one goal to being like, now we're real close to an even bigger goal?
Yeah. Our coach does a really good job of like wins expire at midnight. So when we win a game, like he'll be like, all right, celebrate it until midnight. It expires. Whether we win or lose, it kind of the game's over. Whatever happened. And, he also says championships never expire. So knowing that we, won the championship was super regional, like that's not what we came here to do. We're here to win a national championship. So we, got together as a team and we talked about like how happy we were and how excited, and to thank everybody that helped us get this far. And we kind of like talked about, everything, what everyone's feeling, excited and nervous. So we got it all out in a team meeting, and then we decided like, all right, this is like, we talked about it, now it's on to the next step. What are we going to do? Like, we need to do what it takes to win, not just worry about winning. So now we're just focusing on the next practices, getting on the, jet to Omaha and having a good practice there. And then when the game time comes on Saturday, we'll be ready to roll.
Awesome. So, it's no doubt that over the past couple of weekends, a lot of people are talking about how strong the Kentucky fan base has been. I know you kind of mentioned that. What does it feel like to kind of be out on that field and have so many people behind you rooting for the same goal that you all have worked on all season?
It's unbelievable. We have so much fun in the dugout, and seeing the fans, join into the fun, makes it all worth it. And knowing that they're like watching every move that we do is amazing. And having like a true fan base cheer behind you is nothing I've ever experienced before. I've only been a part where I'm, the opposed and everyone's hating on you. So it's honestly really cool and, refreshing to have fans that are going like, yeah, let's go Kentucky. So I hope they keep showing up for next year and the years beyond that. I think we've put in the work so that way they can, but it's honestly the most awesome feeling ever.
Kentucky, I think, has proven one thing from a fandom. It doesn't matter the sport. If you're good, they're going to show up. And, it's interesting to see this because there's correlations with football too. Kentucky used to not be a place that you're like really going, it is a good football school to go watch a game at. But now it's one of the hardest stadiums in the SEC to come play, especially a big game. Yeah. That place is loud. KPP starting to be that a little bit of a nice home field advantage. It's a super nice facility. I know I had a lot of people talk about visiting fans, how nice it was and everything like that. It's one of those things you guys have kind of built that building block now. But obviously you have a chance to do a bigger building block. Talk to me a little bit about what it's like now. Obviously you've climbed that hill, but now you're also now a hunted, animal in this because you are the 2 seed. You're the second highest seed that's in the tournament. Obviously, people are going to look at you guys as a favorite, whether you guys view yourself as an underdog or a favorite or not. What is that like in that mentality, knowing, hey, like we're now in this, it's the first time, but we're kind of hunted a little bit because we are such a high national seed.
Yeah. I mean, we go into every game with a chip on our shoulder, knowing that they put us 10th in the east of the SEC. And ever since then, like we just kind of been playing with a chip on our shoulder. No matter who we're playing, we're going in with an edge, and like we're just gonna have fun, and we're gonna worry about us, not worry about what the other team's doing. They're just another faceless opponent. And so like playing with that edge and knowing that like, you know, nobody's like, all right, Kentucky talking about us in the beginning. We've kind of proven that, you know, we can do this and we're that team. And I still think people still don't think we deserve to be where we are right now and saying like it's a bunch of luck or whatever. But I think a lot of us are still going to play with that chip on our shoulder no matter what. So we're just going to take that into Omaha.
It's a lot of wins for luck. I'll just tell you that.
Yeah,
hey,
that's so true.
You know what? You know what my dad, who's 86, says? Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, there's definitely some luck that's, you know, helped during some games. So that, anything can happen.
As long as you can keep lucking your way into a national championship, who cares? Like, hey, it was lucky. Hey, where's yours? That's what Tennessee. That's what we'll tell you.
So since coming to Kentucky, have you kind of followed through with some of, I know we've mentioned Tennessee, you know, like 5 or 6 times now with these traditional opponents that were always super, super big games. Have you kind of felt like that pressure whenever we're, you know, playing Tennessee or someone like that?
I honestly didn't know that Tennessee was such a big rival to Kentucky.
Someone just threw something at the radio.
Yeah, for real.
So you know, when they first came to the stadium, like they came in like it was packed. With
was the record crowd.
Record, yeah,
like that whole weekend, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was pretty cool to see like, you know, all the fans, our fans, you know, cheering against them, and like they were trying to get themselves going, and you could hear some stuff going on. But I've been a part of another rivalry at USC and UCLA, and it's nothing like the rivalry here. Like it's like a whole like states versus each other. Like over there is like, you know, cities or the same city against each other. Like whose city is this? But it's like you're like a state. Like this, Kentucky's better. Tennessee's better. So it's cool to like be a part of that.
It was fun when we played Louisville because I think they jumped on like 3-1 or something like that. And when we played them at their place, and Louisville fans started chirping, and then they got thumped. And it was just so much fun. And just seeing like, I don't know if you pay attention to like any of like the Twitter, like just talking that's been going on this year, but it's been really fun with some teams that literally can't beat us in any sport. And just listening to them
the
talk.
things they say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Insanity. And then, you know, I know somebody said the other day, a Tennessee fan, oh, congratulations on doing something we've done 3 of the last 4 years. And then somebody said 0 Final Fours. He goes, that's really embarrassing. I said, not as embarrassing as never making it in 114 years of your sport. So, I mean, just, you know, it's fun. It never ends. Talking about, you know, your career, this is, you know, not your first school you've been to, obviously. But it is the best statistical year you've had in the traditional kind of Power 5 sense. What do you think it's been since coming to Kentucky that's really allowed you to have such an amazing kind of breakout season, especially in the best conference in baseball? Yeah,
I mean, definitely it starts with the coaching staff and, you know, them letting me be myself and going out there and like trusting in the hard work that I put in to be here. Like I'm here for a reason. I'm good enough to be here, and I don't need to try to be somebody else that I'm not. And I've really honed into that. Like this, you know, the type of hitter I am, I'm not going to put up 20 home runs. I'm not going to put up, you know, 80 RBIs. Like I'm just going to, you know, be a guy that gets on base and does whatever I can, like walk, hit by pitch, or slap a ball to left field, like whatever it takes. So I've kind of just bought into, you know, who I am, and the coaches let me play of who I am, and we have so much fun as a team. So it's easy to like, you know, go out there every single day knowing that we have 7,000 fans cheering for us, and we're in the dugout having the best time of our lives, but also competing. Like that's like, we're having fun, but like we're also competing at a super high level. So being able to like combine that makes it super easy to go out there and be myself.
Your dugout shenanigans are insane, by the way.
Fabulous. Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be one of those things where you just have like a shitty game. It's the 5th inning, and you look over and you're just like, why does that guy have 72 hats on his head? Yeah. And it's got to be like, is that like a comforting, kind of relaxing thing to know no matter what happens that you can just kind of look in the dugout and see something and make yourself laugh? Does that help with that reset?
Yeah, absolutely. And like, we're always trying to, you know, cheer on our teammates and not like make it about like yourself.
Right.
So like our coach says 2 things before every game, like you're responsible for two things: how you play and how you help the team outside of how or when you're playing. So we're always looking to, serve our teammates with like a water for the pitcher or bringing the bubble gum for bubblegum third. But you're also like looking around and seeing like guys with the sideway caps, like you're just like struck out and you're just like, oh, you laugh to yourself. Or you're just like, yeah, we still got a game going on. So you kind of like, it's easy to, put away the bad at bats and focus on, what's in front of us. So
what do you do to kind of keep yourself mentally sharp as a designated hitter? Obviously, it's a little different. You're not going into the field all the time. You're not, you're not playing actively playing every single inning. What is that mental preparedness for you? Do you go in the cage between innings? How do you kind of stay mentally sharp on the game, knowing that whenever you do come to the plate and your number is called, that it could be a really big spot and help a team win?
Yeah. Well, if I had just gotten done with my plate appearance, I like to just like kind of sit down or like kind of catch my breath a little bit if I just ran around the bases or something. And I'm back cheering on the fence with my teammates. But like I kind of like give myself a few, like at batters to reset. And sometimes I'll maybe go like into the clubhouse and just kind of like take deep breaths and like, focus on like trying to like not make it a big, deal of like, oh, I did do this, I didn't do that. Like focus on what's next. Like how can I help the team win? And sometimes I'll go take swings in the cages to get myself like, feeling the timing, the rhythm. But yeah, I mean, just focusing on like the game itself, it kind of just like relaxes me and I don't have to focus on like, oh, okay, I just grounded out to second base or I struck out, or even if I hit a home run, like try not to let the moment get too big and focus on, all right, what's next?
I feel like a lot of what your coach kind of talks about is like not letting that moment get too big. And like you had mentioned, it expires at midnight. How has that kind of mentality helped you all advance so far into the season and taking it into this weekend? Even if, you get a win on Saturday, how's that going to look whenever you all are starting to play again?
I mean, like I said, like we just like are focusing on what's next. So once the win expires, like if we lost 10-0, like we'll just, we'll take some good things and, learn from that and learn from the bad things. We do a lot of video review focusing on like the good stuff. So we'll never sometimes we'll like, all right, we didn't do this right. So let's look at what we did wrong and how can we fix it? But we'll always like put up video of guys. All right, like this guy's going, middle backside. This works with a, advantage count, or this guy's, doing well with this quality pitches, throwing strikes. What happens when he throws a strike 0-1 and then, good things happen. So we're always just communicating on what stuff that we need to work on and the stuff that we're doing really well.
What is your kind of look? I played baseball all the way through college, so I understand this, and I'll date myself in the aspect that I remember when Jason Giambi wore a thong to get out of a slump. What is your kind of go-to thing? Obviously, besides the mustaches, do you have any other kind of like superstitions if you're doing well or if you're kind of in a slump that you go to break yourself out of that?
Yeah. Well, if I do something and like, let's say I have a bad game, but we won, I honestly will keep the stuff the same because like at the end of the day, like
that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. But if I'm like having really bad at bats where I feel like I'm not helping the team, I'll like change the grip of my bat, like maybe from like a white to a black or sometimes a neon green. I've done pink before. But nothing too crazy. Maybe change like the cleats that I wear with a jersey. I think I've done like black socks with like blue jersey. We're supposed to be wearing blue socks, but I wear black. But you can't really tell.
Yeah. You probably don't remember that Jason Giambi thing. I really dated myself. You were born, but you were itty bitty.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Do you even know who Jason Giambi is?
No.
Oh man, I think I've seen that video.
Yeah,
something about it.
So I'm old enough that I saw Mark McGwire break the National League home run record in person in 1998.
Oh wow!
Wow.
I wasn't born yet, and I'm old.
Yeah,
oh shit!
Either.
Wow, you weren't born either. I forget that you're a baby too. You just look older than her. Yeah. So I went to the very first playoff game the Marlins ever had in 1997. I was 11, by the way. Yeah, I'm old. I saw Barry Bonds play. I went to the World Series in '97. So I'm am openly admitting that I'm a lifelong Marlins fan. So I've had 2 really fun seasons. Last year was fun too, actually. And then I guess the COVID year was kind of fun because we beat the Cubs again. Less fun because the Billy Goat curse wasn't there because, see, I'm still that old, right? Like I remember the curse of the Billy Goat. When were you born?
99.
Okay, thank God. So you were 4 when that happened, at least, and you're just at an you don't want to tell when you were
not even a thought.
Yeah, not even. Well, you might have been a thought, but I promise you, your dad thought about you.
2002.
Oh, well, it just, or you thought about.
Yeah, well,
never mind. We won't go down. So, what else do you like to do? Right, I'm sure you get asked baseball questions out the yin yang, but like, talk to us about Nick Lopez, the person. What is your favorite kind of off the field things to actually do?
Just to chill. I love going to the beach. That's like one of my favorite things.
Shocker.
Out in SoCal. I mean, like just go.
Look how
to the
tan he
beach.
is. You'd
It's
never
just
know.
like you just go and hang out. Like you can do whatever. Like you can go in the water. You can go swimming. You can go surfing. You go boogie boarding, or you can just sit at the beach and eat some lunch and just like talk with your friends, bring a speaker, relax. That's like one of my favorite things to do. And I'll bring, like, I like skateboard, so I have like a longboard.
Mm-hmm.
So I like, to cruise around on the longboard, make videos. I used to make like just like fun videos of me, like, day in the life of like just like at the beach and then longboarding, and, cool little edits like that. And then I always go to my buddy's house and like, you just play pickup basketball or ping pong.
Are you a good basketball player?
I'm a good defender. I'm really good defense, but I don't jump very high. I can't dunk.
That's fine. I don't jump either at all. So that's kind of true. Oh well, okay.
That was interesting.
So your favorite movie, it says, at least on one of the things, is Avengers Endgame. Is that still there, or is it changed?
No, it's still there.
It's
is the greatest movie of all time.
I met an Avenger.
You did?
Ant-Man.
Who? Oh, Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's
and
awesome.
I met Peter Russo.
Wow.
At Wrexham out after they won the title. He came there. Paul Rudd was there, and as a guest, and I actually met him in the turf before the match, and he was surrounded, and then after, I know the guy who owns it, and he was just like waves. He's like, "You coming?" And I learned a long time ago, if someone says you coming, you just go. Don't ask questions. It's either going to end up really well, or it's going to be so bad the story is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Walk around the corner, there's a car, and there's Paul Rudd and Peter.
Oh,
so I mean, that was pretty.
so sick.
That was pretty cool, and I got to actually like spend like 30 minutes, like legit, just talking like we are, just not having any kind of. There was no like, oh look, it's a celebrity. Got a picture with him at the end, and it was pretty cool. So I'll show you the picture when we're done. It's it was good. What was it like? So I'm from South Florida originally, right? All right, so we might even compare. What was it like? Did you have some culture shock when you came from California to Kentucky?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, yeah. As soon as I got here,
Did you ask where the beach was?
I was like, where's the nearest body of water that I can jump into?
Yeah, they don't quite look the same here.
No, they don't.
Did you actually go to said body of water that someone said to go to?
Well, our coach, he lives on by a lake, I think. So we've been to the lake before and hung out there. But I haven't really gone to a lake much. Everybody fishes. I only like to hang out.
You're not a fisherman?
I'm not a fisherman. Like, I'm the guy that's like sitting there on the chair with the speaker and the snacks and just hanging out.
So you're like Drake. You just show up just to be the trophy wife.
But my brother is a big fisherman. So like whenever we go fish, like he always set up the rod for me because like I don't really know much about that or invested any money in fishing stuff. But he's invested a lot of money, so he'll always show me the ropes and like sometimes I'll throw the line out there and get something, but. I like just chilling, like hanging out with the boys. Like that's what I go out there for.
What is your favorite baseball memory as a kid? Not college, not even like high school, but like going back to like little league, minor league. What's kind of like a moment that you remember that you kind of say that was something that sticks out?
Yeah.
You don't have to think that far back like me, so you should have plenty of memories.
I think playing on the all-star team, and we went to go practice at the same field that I ended up going to high school to.
Right.
But like the high school I ended up going to was J. Sarah. It's like a super like really nice private school that I never would even like put on the map of myself going to. So it wasn't like, oh, like I live by it. And so like it was just the most random thing. And like I remember practicing there and like being on the all-star team and like being one of the guys. Like I was just like, yeah, like this is cool. So just having like being at the high school, and then, you know, years later, like ended up going to the high school. Like I remember like stepping foot back on where I practiced, and I just kind of like, I was like, dang, like I was here when I was like 11. So
that was like 6 years ago. Wow.
It was like my first like travel trip. Like I like we like took a bus, you know, 30 minutes, and it was like, you know, traveling on as a college baseball player now. It was like a field trip almost. So it was honestly cool. And then we ended up going back to one of the coach's house and like having a team barbecue, swimming by the pool, and doing all the fun stuff as a kid. So that was a core memory when I was little.
Yeah. So whenever you were kind of thinking about where you were going to go after the end of last year's season, were you kind of thinking like, oh yeah, these are some schools that I think I would want to end up, or kind of feeling like I'll just know when I feel it feels right? Or how was that, how you ended up here?
Well, my goal was to play in the SEC. So I wanted to be in the SEC. In the beginning, there was no SEC teams.
It just means more.
It just means more. Like I played in the Pac-12, and that was fun. But I felt like if I was going to come back for a fifth year, I want to be in the best college, you know, conference in the country. So in the beginning, I was only getting like D2 NAIAs, and I was kind of like almost at the point where I was just going to be like, all right, I guess this is where I'm going. And I don't know if like you guys heard this, but I have this Chipotle story that kind of like changed the whole route of my college career. Chipotle.
Also, Chipotle, can you please open up the for sales location across the street from my house, because it's really getting irritating looking at that place and it's not open. Anyway, continue.
Yeah. So I was at the Chipotle by my house with my buddy, and I was kind of talking to him about like, you know, struggling to find a school that felt right. And we finish up eating and we go to the parking lot, and I'm kind of just like walking through the parking lot, and I, you know, said goodbyes and walking to my car. And I swear this lady just appeared out of the bushes, like just like appeared. And I was just like, she stops me, and I was wearing a USC shirt, and she goes, oh, I noticed that you're wearing a USC shirt. Like I had some family that went to USC, and I felt like I just needed to say a prayer for you. And I'm not making this stuff up. Like, and I was just, it was weird because I was just like, sure, like I guess. And so like, I have a video of it. Like she put her hand on me, and like I have my head down, just like, you know, just letting her pray. And she was just like, what do you want me to pray for? And I was just like my baseball career. And so she said the prayer, and then I turned around, and my buddy's just videoing, and then I'm just like laughing, and I turned around and she's gone. And I'm like, what the heck? And so like, I honestly didn't think much of it. I was just kind of like, all right, cool. So the next day we're eating again, and I'm just like sitting down, and I get like a Twitter DM, and I was just like, Kentucky baseball. And I was just like, oh man, like I got to see like what this is about, SEC. And then, you know, I saw did some research, really nice facilities, saw they made a super regional run. It looked like they were having fun on the field. So I was like, all right, like, you know, I guess this I'll check it out. And so ended up being the best DM I've ever gotten. So it ended up working out well. And I knew like once they reached out, like after having that moment at Chipotle, that it was meant to be. So it was pretty cool.
That is a really
That's
cool
crazy.
story.
Wild, yeah.
What they don't realize, it was actually Coach Minge in drag showing up.
Yeah. It's funny because Coach Minge, actually, I told him that story, and he said, like, he almost started crying when I told him this because he's really into his faith. And he's like, yeah, like every year I tell, you know, God, like, this is your team. I'm just coaching it. You know, like you bring me the guys that I need. And then I told him that story, and he was like tearing up, and he was like, it was meant to be. And I was like, yeah, like this is cool.
If you guys get to the championship series, you should definitely watch Angels in the Outfield. That is your pregame movie.
Yeah.
I feel like that should be a thing, right? Like I'm again dating myself in that. Have you ever seen Angels in the Outfield? Okay, thank God. Have you, Kendall?
Yes.
Okay, she looked at me cross-eyed. And I was just like, oh my God, here we go. She's gonna be like, I've never even heard of that movie. I'm just gonna be like, I'm turning your microphone off right now. This is crazy. So kind of getting into the end of this. This is gonna be probably like the craziest week of your life. I hope you take lots of pictures because in big moments you embrace it, but you want to see it forever. Talk to me though a little bit about now, like getting that game face on. The World Series is coming. Where do you guys see yourselves now? Like, are you, is this something that you're going, hey, we're not just happy to be here, we're ready to go win this damn thing? Because I think that's something that we're really excited to see and see you guys compete with. Yeah,
absolutely. That has been the end goal since we stepped foot on campus and, had that first team meeting. And like I said earlier, like when we had that team meeting after the super regional, we got all the, the emotions out, talking about it, being grateful for everything that we've gotten. But at the end of the day, like this isn't the end goal. So obviously we are super proud of, what we've done up to this point, but I think to make things even better to win a national championship. So I think we're all, I think we're going all in. And, since I got here and, had a couple scrimmages, I was like, this team is different. Like I can feel something, brewing, and I've been a part of 4 different teams and like a lot of good teams, a lot of good players. And like this team was more well-rounded than any team that I've ever been a part of. So I wouldn't be surprised if, you see us in the championship.
Last question from me, and then Kendall can ask the last one. Why did you pick up goodness, I don't even know how to talk. Why did you pick the walk-up song that you have?
So I did Hips Don't Lie in the beginning. So I've had that since since I was at USC, and the fans liked it there, and I figured I'd continue to do it because it's a good song. But and then I have Live Your Life right now, and so I kind of like that one because just live your life, whatever. And then Dead and Gone by Justin Timberlake, kind of like the old me is gone, and I'm just focused on what I have right here in Kentucky. So
are we going to get a surprise in Omaha, or are you going to keep it?
I'll do a surprise.
Hey, there you go. So if you're going to Omaha, just know that there's a surprise walk-up song for Nick Lopez.
I guess we'll end it on a fun note. Since you all are flying there, what is your go-to airport snack or meal before you get on the plane?
I love Sour Patch Kids, so I'll go to those first. And I like me a Diet Coke, so I'll have those two paired up together. And if there's a Chick-fil-A, I'll eat Chick-fil-A. But
here we go.
If there's not, then I'll have something else.
When you see the plane going side to side landing in Omaha, you're going to know it's Nick Lopez jacked up on Mountain Dew or Diet Coke. And as my kids,
house music,
as my kid calls it, Bumble Batch Kids. Yeah, it's his favorite. He sees it, Daddy, Bumble Batch Kids. Nick Lopez, tell everybody where they can follow you on social media.
You can find me on Instagram at Dimitri.Lopez_. And Twitter is Nick34Lopez. And you can find my YouTube, leisure.house. And you can check out the podcasts and vlogs. And I'll be vlogging the whole trip for Omaha. So you guys can check that out.
There you go. Check that out. Send us the link, and we'll make sure and share it out. Everybody, Nick Lopez, thank you so much for joining the show. Good luck this weekend. We're going to be cheering you on. And hopefully we can get you on again, maybe with a little bit more exciting things to talk about. So appreciate everyone for listening. Make sure you like the page. It's Bleed B Network on Instagram. And make sure you give us a review so it makes it easier for everyone to follow the show. Thanks, Kendall, for letting us pop your podcast cherry. Was it as bad as you thought?
No, not bad.
Not bad? You good now?
I think I'm good. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks everyone for listening. I can't even talk. See, I've done 500 of these. I can't even say everyone. Thanks everybody for listening. Go Big Blue.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of the Bleed Blue Network Podcast. Podcast. We hope you enjoyed diving deep into the world of Kentucky sports with us. Don't forget to stay connected by following us on Twitter at BleedBNation. Your feedback means the world to us. So take a moment to leave a review. Not only does it help us improve, but it also helps others discover the show. Until next time, keep cheering, keep listening, and keep bleeding blue.